Hi, welcome to Charlotte's Cooking Show. I'm Charlotte. Today we're celebrating sports. I have my Beck and Boyd sports sweatshirt on, celebrating the fact that the Chiefs just won the Super Bowl, and Super Bowl night I made the famous chicken nacho dip, and the kids loved it. It's really, really good. I've been making it for years. I'm actually surprised I haven't done it yet on Charlotte's Cooking Show, but we're making it today. It's so, so tasty. You're going to love it. So this nacho dip is super yummy. I make it in my Instant Pot. It's really, really easy. One pot, no big mess. And it's great with nacho chips. It's great on rice. It's great with some egg noodles. I've even put it inside tortilla shells with some rice, roll it up, make it into like a chimichanga and put it on the panini press. Really, really tasty. Great like on a protein bowl or something like that. You'll see it's got black beans, chicken, salsa, and all kinds of delicious stuff in it. Cream cheese, which makes it really, really creamy and delicious. So let's get to it. So we've got 4 chicken breasts here. We're gonna season those up, cut them up into some smaller pieces, and we're gonna get them ready in the Instant Pot. So we're gonna take this off. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil, and we're gonna put this on saute for now, and just get the pot nice and hot, and then I'll show you the next steps. So we've got our chicken breasts here on a separate cutting board because we got to keep our surfaces separate when we're working with poultry and meat. So I've tenderized them with kind of a mallet just to kind of break up the chicken a little bit. And all I'm going to use is just a small handful of salt. I'm just going to give them a quick season, and nothing too fancy because there's going to be lots of seasonings in the nacho dip, and then just some ground pepper as well. We'll flip these over, do the other side, and then I'll cut them into chunks. We've got the Instant Pot heating up, and we'll add a little bit of oil too. All right, just a little squeeze at the bottom, maybe a tablespoon of oil, and then I will cut these up into kind of large chunks, just sort of in half like that. Once they cook in the Instant Pot, we are going to shred up the chicken. So it's going to be like in bite-sized pieces anyway, but this is just to help the chicken cook quickly. You, in the Instant Pot, if you don't have the time to do all of this and to have chicken thaw, you can put this right in frozen solid, and just with a little bit of chicken stock like we're gonna talk about, and a few minutes on the meat setting, and the chicken cooks beautifully. So we're gonna add in our chicken. The saute feature is great because it heats up the pot, and then what I'm gonna do is let this cook for just a couple of minutes, dice up a red pepper, and we're going to add that in as well, and then I will show you just the feature once we get everything combined and how easy it is to cook this. So one thing we're going to add in shortly is this whole jar of salsa, but I really like red peppers, so I'm going to dice up half a red pepper, and I'm going to throw in some extra tomatoes. So we're going to dice those up, add them in, and then we will just keep layering things. This is a really great dip if you have to take it to a party or like a family event or any kind of like sports function. It's really great. I like to make mine in the Instant Pot, but I finish it off in the oven. So you put it like in a casserole dish, which we will, and it's just awesome to take with you. So one little thing that I keep in my pantry, and I refer to it all the time, I tape this to the inside of my spice cabinet, is these little DIY spice combinations. So you can like Google them and just print off this little image. So I have this one, and there's all kinds of different spice blends. So there's Cajun, Greek, and so you can just make your own spice blends with the spices you already have. Instead of buying already pre-made, you know, flavored spices, you can just make your own. And you can store them in your own jar. Chances are you have chili, cumin, cayenne pepper, all that kind of stuff just sitting there, so you might as well use it up. So you can buy, of course, this stuff, which is awesome. I use this all the time too, but you can make your own. So what I've got here for chili seasoning, and that's essentially what we're doing here, taco seasoning. This is the flavoring we're going for. 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 2 tablespoons of ground cumin, 1.5 teaspoons of onion powder, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and if you love hot stuff, add some more of that, or later on add in some jalapeno peppers, whatever you feel like. Half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of oregano. So this is everything right here. I'm just going to add it into my glass jar, give it a little shake, and then that's what I'm going to use to flavor this, this whole dish here. But it's great to have on hand. So you can just make it if you're making nachos and you just want to have your own. If you don't have any of this stuff on hand or the packets, just make it yourself and just add a little bit of flour or cornstarch to have to thicken it up a little bit if that's what you're going for. But when you look at it, it's pretty much the same coloring as taco seasoning. Smells great, really fresh. And now I'm going to add it to my nacho dip. And I think I'll use like 2 pretty hefty tablespoons. I'll keep the rest for afterwards, and if I want to add it in for some flavor, I will. Okay, so I need 1 cup and a quarter cup, so 1 1/4 cup, is that how that adds up, of chicken broth. So I'm just going to add this in, and then we're going to put the Instant Pot under pressure, and this is the fun stuff. It only takes a couple of minutes to come to full pressure, but that's what cooks the chicken. I mean, it's pretty much cooked here, but we're just going to soften it right up, and then we'll shred it and then add the rest of the ingredients. Looks about right. Okay, so we turned off the saute setting. This is where the fun stuff starts. Push it down, slide it closed, and the little nozzle on the back will eventually pop up. But we're going to put it on here for meat and only just a couple of minutes. Takes a couple minutes to get to pressure, and the little red thing in the back will pop up, and then when we're ready to open it, we'll vent it, and that's always fun. So while our Instant Pot is coming to pressure, we are going to prepare the next few ingredients. So what makes this so delicious is cream cheese. Of course, we're using an entire block, and we will add this into the hot liquid when it's done after we've shredded the chicken. We're also going to add in a full large can of black beans, this full jar of salsa, and then what I'm going to do is add a little bit more chicken broth in this once this is empty, and some cornstarch. And we'll sort of swish that around a little bit, and the cornstarch will help thicken up that sort of creamy sauce, and that's what's going to make it nice and thick and great to dip and put on your chips or on your food. And then in the end, when we're ready to serve, we're going to add in some shredded cheese, and that'll just melt in and be cheesy, delicious goodness. And then of course you can top things off with green onions, avocado, anything like that. I've thought about maybe putting in some corn niblets. That's always great too, so we might do that. All right, we're now done, so we'll turn this off, open up the vent, which is always the funnest part. And then once all the steam is released, then the red button in the back will drop down, and then we'll know it's safe to open. But you wouldn't be able to open this anyway because it's just locked tight. But that's what makes these machines so great. They're safe, and they make food, I think, really flavorful. And I'm not nervous of them. I know people are. The old ones in the past maybe were a little scary, but these are great, and I highly recommend them. So we're ready. Look at that, nice and hot. There's some liquid, throw that back in. I've got my Pampered Chef. I use it for breaking up ground beef or ground pork or whatever. This is perfect. So this is what we're gonna use to break up our chicken. And it's just an easy tool. Instead of taking all the chicken out and cutting it up, this is much easier. So I've taken the pot out because it's just a little easier for me to have some leverage here to get on top and break up this chicken. And then what I'm gonna do is once it's all broken up into some small pieces here, then we're gonna keep building our ingredients. What I'm gonna do is add just about a quarter cup of chicken broth mixed with some cornstarch. We're gonna put that in first because that's what's gonna thicken everything. And then we're gonna add in our black beans, salsa. I did grab some frozen corn. We'll add those in, and really, that's about it. It's all that's kind of the dish, and the cream cheese as well. Sorry, forgot about that. So that needs to melt in the hot sauce here, and then we can put it in our baking dish. Okay, about a tablespoon cornstarch, a little bit of chicken broth, just enough to make kind of a thickened liquid. guess they call that a slurry. So you're just gonna kind of mix that up like that. It'll be just kind of a creamy, white looking liquid. Mix that up and just add that in. And then that cornstarch will do its thing as it mixes with the heat. So I've taken a block of cream cheese, broken it up into some cubes, and we're just going to add that in and let the heat from the liquid melt that cream cheese. So yummy. Okay. I've decided to go for it with another jar of salsa, just to give you a little bit more oomph here. And I did taste it, and I think we're gonna need a little bit more of our seasoning mix, so we'll add that in here. Don't need much, just another little sprinkle. So we got a little bit left over, but that cayenne's got a bit of heat to it, which is really good. Okay, so we've got everything mixed up. I'm gonna put this back in. I've got the saute feature on, so I'll put the lid back on. I'm just gonna see how this heats up and see how it thickens, and if we need to add any more cornstarch into some water, and chicken stock, I mean. Chicken nacho dip, delicious, ready to go into this roasting pan. I think I'll put it in the oven to kind of thicken it up a little bit. I am gonna add just a little bit more cornstarch, but before I do that, I'm gonna add in our cheese, and that's the next great addition to all of this, and that'll help thicken up the sauce too. All right, so we've got a couple of ways to serve this. This is over some egg noodles, a little bit of greenery there. That looks so good. Over some rice, really good. This is, I had mentioned that I would add some more cornstarch to thicken it up. That's really great for a dip and stuff, and I'll do that in a second because it's great to have it nice and thick when you're using nacho chips and stuff. But this is, when it's saucy like this, is really great that it's a little thinner when you're putting it over rice, over noodles, you know, what have you. And as it cools, it'll thicken as well. There's a couple of great options. And then of course, we'll open up our scoops, which I think are the best way to eat these delicious, or this delicious dip. So we've got our scoop, got a little piece of chicken there, some black beans. Heck, we'll throw on a little green onion for flavor. But here it is, chicken nacho dip. I guarantee you, you're going to love it. It's great for any family party, sports night, Super Bowl party, whatever you got going on. So good.